Today, our topic is who has your money and can't pay you because they can't find you. I'm going to talk about why content creation is important and how it helps you with discoverability. If you want people to be able to do business with you, you have to make yourself more discoverable. And the best way to make yourself more discoverable is to create compelling content. So join me for today's episode of Tech Talk Tuesday. I'll tell you my tips for how to get started making some compelling content and also tell you about our upcoming workshop for November. Hey, good morning and happy Tech Talk Tuesday. This is Michael DeMond here. Had a little bit of a technical issue right before we started. I got a little notification that my mic wasn't working, but it looks like we should be good now. So if I can get a sound and sight check in the comments from our viewers, that would be appreciated. Good morning to everybody, and thank you for tuning in for today's show. I told myself I was going to do a little something, so let me just turn my Instagram live on real quick for anybody who wants to tune in from Instagram. All right, cool. Michaela, thank you so much. Letting me know that you can hear me and that you can see me. All right, everybody. Today is Tech Talk Tuesday, and our topic today is compelling content, and specifically how compelling content relates to your ability to generate sales and to attract customers. So today we're going to dive into this topic. I'm going to give you some tips and kind of explain to you how content marketing works and just explain this whole process. Because a lot of us, we're posting on social media and we're posting things all the time, but are you really aware of what your intentions are behind the scenes and what kind of results are you trying to generate from the things that you're posting? So when you're using content in your marketing strategy, you want to be sure that you are intentional about the things that you post so that you can get the results that you then need for your business. So today we're going to talk about that. I'm going to walk you through that whole process. And at the end, I'm going to give you some information about a boot camp that we're starting November 1st through the 5th. So the boot camp is called the Content Creation Boot Camp. It's going to allow you to be able to come in and get a deeper dive into the stuff that I'm talking about today. But from the 1st through the 5th, we have all live classes. And then for the rest of the month, you have access to me and to Michaela, to our team, to help you with technical support so you can implement the things that I'm talking about today. So we'll do those 5 days live. We'll give instruction, give you all the stuff that you need with that, and then give you the rest of the month to be able to implement these things. If you're starting to plan for 2022, this is a great way for you to reapproach the way that you do social media and that you do content creation. And if you aren't even creating content at all, we're going to be starting from the foundation. This is a great way for you to jump in and figure out what you need to do to start doing it. So my sound is good. Hey, Providers Helper, thank you for tuning in. I'm going to go ahead, y'all, and get right into our topic today because I have quite a bit to cover for you. Thank you for tuning in here. So let me go ahead. If you're on Instagram, you can go over to WeMerge Media or on Facebook or YouTube if you want to see the screen share. But otherwise, just sit here and listen in with me, and you can get the information that way too. So let's just kind of start out talking about like what is content exactly. As a marketer, I take for granted the fact that these things are just daily, everyday things to me, and I don't necessarily have to make that connection. But for a lot of you, not marketing not being your thing and content creation not being your thing, you may not necessarily know what content is and if you're already creating it. So let's kind of talk a little bit about what content is. Right now, I'm sure most of you are already creating content. If you're posting on Facebook, Instagram, if you're posting videos, graphics and images, maybe you're writing blog posts, you're doing articles, if you're developing ebooks for your lead generation strategy, all of these things fall into the bucket of content. Now, what makes the content strategic, and especially in a marketing plan, is are you creating content that's going to attract the people that you want to do the things that you want them to do? And do you have the system to bring them back into it so that that content can then close the loop for you? And that's what we're going to kind of talk about, and I'm going to walk you through today. So we're all pretty much creating content. Most of us are creating content for free for these platforms. But if you are strategic and at an advanced level, you may be creating this content with a higher intent and getting different results than someone who may just be posting every day and not really seeing any results. So let's just take, for example, this episode of Tech Talk Tuesday. I take this one video And this is the reason why I usually recommend that you always start with video. This is my recommendation. But once you have that video, you have the ability to spin that video out into 5, 10, let's see, 12, 14 pieces of content. I'm going to walk you through this madness real quick. Never mind that little 4 that I have there. I forgot to delete that. So let's talk about this episode. Here's what I'm going to do and what I've been doing. So some of these pieces have already been done. So to get ready for today's show, I typically will create an outline or a script. Sometimes I just go off the dome. Sometimes I just make an outline. It all kind of depends on the topic and what kind of mood I'm in. But let's just say following the normal process, I'm going to script out my video, not word for word, but just kind of having like the high level points that I want to cover. So for this one episode of Tech Talk Tuesday, I've already developed a reel, okay, on Facebook. I've already have a Facebook post. When I schedule this live, I'm gonna take these off. When I schedule this live through StreamYard, I'm automatically live on Facebook and I'm live on YouTube. And when I go live on Facebook, it creates what they call a live event. So a lot of you are probably here because you got that notification that I was live and they created that automatically. Okay. I can also take the same video and create an ad to be able to put out there and narrow it down to a certain audience and then attract people to my page to get more followers. That's just Facebook, 5 posts. Let's jump over to Instagram. Here's another 5 posts and 5 pieces of content. I can create a reel from this video. I can create a post from this video. I actually can create multiple posts from this video because I can edit this video into smaller segments and use like 5, 10 different pieces of content just from this one video. I can create a story from here. IGTV, if I want to put the whole thing up there in a longer form, I can do that. Also can use it for an ad. On LinkedIn, we're on our 3rd platform now. I can take this same video, create a video post with it. I can also take the script that I might make or the outline, or even have the closed caption text from the video as I'm recording it, turn that into an article. And then on YouTube, this video gets repurposed as educational video content. I also can break it into smaller pieces and make shorts of video shorts, YouTube shorts. So just from this one episode of Tech Talk Tuesday, I'm able to repurpose this content to at least 14 different things based on what we see here on the screen. So when you are creating content and you're doing it with intent, you can then kind of get more life out of it. Now, I know sometimes it's very difficult for people to sit down and kind of map all these things out. And this is exactly why we're having the bootcamp next month, because if you have a system that you can follow, then it's going to be a lot easier. I think the other reason this is difficult for a lot of people, and me being one of a lot of people at some point, is that it takes time to sit down and create all this crap. Like, no lie. But what I found is like video is one of the best starting places for me, is because I know that I can repurpose all that content. I didn't even talk about taking the audio file from the video and turning that into a podcast episode. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. And I went through a training a couple of, I think it's about a month ago now. I went through a training and it was called the Make More Offers Challenge. And one of the things that resonated with me is that, people don't want to build the infrastructure because during that time, you aren't making any money from it until it's built. And that's the thing that's difficult for people to do, to make that time. But you have to make that time to set the infrastructure up properly so that when you start doing these things, you're going to get the reward in the back end because you took the time to create the system and you took the time to create the back end system to be able to cycle all this stuff through. So now we've created content. Yay. Let's say we've done that and we've gotten to that point. The next thing that content is going to do for you is that content then becomes discoverable on all these different platforms. So let's say, for example, you have somebody who just kind of scrolling through their feed at that point and they come across a video and they happen to hear something that you said in one of your video posts, or maybe it's something that you wrote in a caption that catches their attention. That is discoverable content. Let's say I have a problem and I go over to Google and I need to search for a video on how to do something specifically. I have a perfect example. I made a video last year when the pandemic started about how to find your Zoom recording, because tons of people were making Zooms and couldn't find the recording. Thousands of views later, that video still gets hits, still gets people commenting, saying thank you. I created that one piece of content, less than 10 minutes, I believe, And thousands of views later, that content is still discoverable. So if you can see what I mean by discoverable content, once you create these things, they're like seeds, and they're going to be there. They're going to do the work for you after you've created. Now, that was an example that didn't take me a lot of time, but some stuff takes more times than others. But the point is, you want to put this content out there that's going to have some longevity to it to really make it worth your while. So, video content, written content like blogs and articles, all that stuff is great. There are billions of people on all these different platforms. So, when you're posting, you want to be mindful of the fact that, people are on there. They may or may not be in a buying stage at that moment. They may or may not be your audience, but if you are saying the right things to the right people at the right time, you then have the ability to do better on your conversions. So now that you have that discoverable content and you understand that, let me just kind of back up a little bit and take the compelling content and put it into this 4 phase foundation that I'm always working with my clients to establish. So establishing the infrastructure is number one. Creating compelling content is number two. Once you have that creating compelling content and you're distributing it out, you then have the ability to draw people into your sales funnel. But you have to have a sales funnel. And that sales funnel, once you get people going through that system, you want to have some automation to repeat that cycle and to continue to do the work for you. So this is the part that usually gets a little choppy for people when they're just like, I'm doing all this stuff, I'm posting, I'm showing up, I'm showing up consistently, but like, do you really have the right system in place to back you up in the back end? This is what's usually missing for a lot of people that I end up talking to. So this is where I'm going to now talk about what can you do if you want a little bit of help to put this system into place. Typically, when people have problems, they go look for solutions. People who had problem finding their Zoom recording went to YouTube or went to Google and searched, where's my Zoom recording? How do I find my Zoom recording? That gave me the opportunity to have that content draw them over to my channel and build up my subscriber base and build up my views. So I wanted to just kind of give you that foundation and give you that picture so you have the ability to see, when you're creating this content, I want you to be thinking about, who am I creating this content for? What are their needs, and how does that align with what it is that I can do or what I can offer? So those problems end up being solutions for you, when you end up creating the right kind of content. Now, just to give a little bit of information about what is compelling content, let's go a little deeper into that. Compelling content obviously is going to be something that compels people to take some action. So you want that content to spark their interest. And like I said, if you have the right message at the right time to the right people, you're going to get their attention and they're going to be interested in what it is that you're doing. The other part of that is that you want to inspire curiosity. Once you inspire that curiosity, that's when people are kind of itching to go to the next step. So whether that be pushing a button, submitting their email address, maybe they're just following you, or maybe they're just liking you, whatever that is, you want to make sure that that content has that element built into it. Okay. So you want it to compel people to take action. You want it to spark people's curiosity. And then you also want to be able to spark their interest, get their interest so that you can get them through the next step. So next month, as I talked about, if you are feeling like you're just creating stuff in a black hole, I'm posting, I'm making videos, I'm making reels, and I'm not seeing any activity on it, you have to start thinking about, like, are the things that you're creating compelling? Do you have the right system in the back end to be able to take anybody who's interested through that process of being able to work with you? Are you just posting content and hoping that they find a way to connect with you and a way to connect with you and contact you? Next month, I'm going to take everybody who's enrolled through the content creation bootcamp for 4 months. So we had our first bootcamp last month, which is a tech support for baby boomer bootcamp. This month, we're doing content creation bootcamp, and we're basically kind of following through those 4 different elements that I showed you with your digital marketing foundation. For this is month number 2. In the content creation bootcamp, I'm going to show you how to create content, different types of content that you create. I'm going to make sure that you understand what your distribution channel options are. So when you're creating that content, you have a way to be able to send that information out. And then I'm also going to help you find some tools and some resources that are going to be best for you. Not everybody's going to be able to create the same amount of content and type of content at the same level. So there are a number of different tools that you can use, and I'll be sharing all those tips with you over the course of that month. The other thing that I want to point out about the bootcamp, even though it's November 1st through the 5th that we're having live classes, Every week on Wednesdays and Sundays, I also have what we call help desk hours. So as long as you're part of the boot camp and you come into there, I'm going to be available for an hour each of those days to be able to answer any questions or provide some additional tech support for you. And that'll go through the end of the month. So that is, in a nutshell, why it's important for you to make sure that you're creating compelling content and how that compelling content can end up leading to you either getting or not getting customers in your business. All right. So to sign up for the boot camp, there's a couple different ways depending on who you are. I know a lot of you are already TikTok's watchers, and you're probably already part of bondtobuild.com. So if you are, all you have to do is log into bondtobuild.com with your credentials, go to courses, and you'll see the boot camp there. If you're not and you're new and you're not part of Bond to Build, what you'll want to do is go to bondtobuild.com, and one of the plan options are going to be a plan for you to be able to buy the content creation bootcamp, which gives you membership to our virtual community as well. I'm talking to Instagram and I'm talking to everybody here on StreamYard, so I'm testing this out. So those are the two different ways that you can sign up. Lastly, if you're one of the people who was part of last month's bootcamp, all you have to do is go into our current bootcamp, and there's a special code and price in there for you. So make sure you go that way to get your discount on next month's bootcamp. Any questions at all? I hope that I didn't go over too much that you couldn't absorb it. And this is the reason why being part of that bootcamp is going to help you out. But any questions at all? Let's see if we have any questions. Good morning, Daphne from Milwaukee. Hello to you. I'd be interested in a workshop on repurposing. We're going to cover repurposing actually in the content creation bootcamp. So if you want to join for that, that's going to be a segment of that. We're going to talk about the repurposing part. That repurposing part is like everything. Like everybody who you see showing up, think about the people that you've bought things from or people that you follow or subscribe. Like, how did you get there? Like, they created something that got your attention and brought you over to their platform that got you to either like or to follow. So oftentimes we're taking part in this process, but we're doing it from a consumer standpoint and not a creator standpoint. So it's important for you to have at least the understanding of how that works. And if it's not you doing all the content creation work, at least understanding what that process looks like, so you can then figure out who do you need to partner with and bring into your fold to be able to get this process done. So that's our episode for today. I'll continue to talk about content creation through the rest of this month as we lead up to the boot camp. If you have any questions at all, feel free to leave them down in the video comments. I'll come back and I'll answer them. Or if you're already part of Bond to Build community, you got direct access to me. So feel free to submit your questions there too. Instagram folks, thank you for tuning in. What's up? Super Bond Beauty, Social 52040. Clarendria, thank you for tuning in. Let's talk about it. We got some people over there. I'm going to start doing the Instagram live a little bit more when I do the tech talks. But I do look forward to seeing all of you in the tech talk and in the boot camp. And I look forward to seeing you next week on next episode of Tech Talk Tuesday. Have a good one.